I'll never forget the evening I left home, the air thick with the sharp sting of betrayal. My family, my blood surrounded me, laughter bubbling like a cauldron of scorn. "You think you're a scientist? You're just a bug fanatic. You'll disgrace us." My mother's voice, usually so soothing, was now a knife, carving out any remnants of support. My father's dismissive chuckle echoed in my ears like thunder, drowning my pleas. I had been a forensic entomologist, a dreamer who thought uncovering the mysteries of death through the eyes of insects could matter. I found what no one else did, newly evolved parasitic insects inside a sealed corpse. But my findings were dismissed. My colleagues snickered behind closed doors, the very notion of evolution happening so close to human decay deemed absurd. And so I packed my things, leaving behind the taunting echoes of crazy and delusional. I stepped into the world, carrying only my obsession, my bugs, and the chilling whisper of revenge that would not quiet until I had proven them all wrong. Years blurred into a relentless pursuit. I collected, bred, and studied parasites that thrived on decay. My life a living laboratory where I danced with horrors that would drive most to madness. Insects became my family, their buzzing wings my lullabies. I unearthed secrets of the parasitic world that were darker than I could have ever imagined. They were not mere insects. They were predators that held dominion over death, ready to turn the living into hosts for their insatiable hunger. But deep down, I knew that my triumph was a double-edged sword, a crown woven beneath shadows. After a decade, I returned home, the weight of knowledge and trauma draped over my shoulders. I was no longer the scorned child, but neither was I the prodigal son. I returned not to reclaim my place among them, but to deliver a chilling message about the horrors I had unearthed. The night I arrived, the sky was thick with storm clouds as I stood at the door of the house I had once fled. I hesitated, the familiar scent of home mixing with the stale air of regret. My heart raced as I knocked. The sound echoed like a death knell. They answered, eyes wide with disbelief. They didn't expect me to return, nor did they expect the man who stood before them, clad in a dark coat with eyes that mirrored the void. "Look at what you've become," my sister sneered, her voice dripping with disdain. "You're just here to show off your achievements, right? Achievements?" My father's bark of laughter shattered the moment. "Good luck trying to convince us you're not just a science nerd who fell into a pit of bugs." But as I stepped inside, their laughter faltered. I brought something with me, my collection of specimens slumbering in their glass cages, waiting for the right moment to awaken. "Allow me to show you what I've learned," I said, my voice low but steady. I opened a case, revealing a swarm of grotesque little creatures, their translucent bodies pulsing like hearts. They writhed in anticipation, each movement a foreboding whisper of what lay beneath their fragile exoskeletons. "What is that?" My mother's voice trembled, her face paling as she took a step back. "Put those away, you—" "Those are my accomplishments, Mother," I interjected, a twisted smile creeping across my lips. "The future of survival through decay. They are the new evolution, and soon they will evolve again." Laughter morphed into gasps as I took out a few larvae, their forms wriggling with life and dread. These aren't just bugs. They're the next stage of humanity's reckoning. And then, without warning, I released them into the air. The room erupted into chaos. My family shrieked, scrambling away from the door, but the insects were too quick. They swarmed, a living cascade of horror that plunged into the flesh of my family. They were feeding, infesting the very people who had once dismissed me as insane. "What have you done? Get them away!" My sister screamed, her hands flailing as the parasites burrowed into her skin. They were hungry, hungry for flesh. Fear wrapped around them like a noose, constricting their breaths as they writhed in agony. I stood still, heart racing, watching the terror unfold. My mother,